he asked me, what are some of my favorites or famous New Orleans recordings? And it depends on, start with the early stuff. You know, I listened to a lot of trap music when I was a kid, you know. Man, there's a lot of Buddy Bowles and stuff, and as far as drummers go, I was mostly influenced by the drummers that were in the street. You know, those guys. You know, I never had access to recordings when I was very young. I guess I was about 8 or 9 years old before we got a record player, and started finding out about recordings. Famous recordings are. A lot of good traditional ones. The Preservation Hall Band for many years has been putting out different people's names under Louis Cottrell. He did a lot of great records. I had the fortunate privilege of working with some of the finest traditionalists around. You know, in New Orleans, living in New Orleans, and I made some nice records that were not so traditional, but they were done by traditional people like Albert and Pete Fountain, who did in their bands play lots of traditional music. And mostly the traditional stuff, you get to find it. With Seek LouisianaMusicFactory.com and just seek out New Orleans traditional music, and I would say it's like you can't find bad food in New Orleans. You know, you can't find that much bad music when it comes to traditional New Orleans music. It's usually all pretty good. Then later in my teenagehood, you know, the traditionalism of New Orleans street beats and so what a lot of people associate to as and we don't like to say the word in New Orleans, but I'll say it for those who don't know what traditional means. When I say the word Dixieland, a lot of that music of the traditionalist music and Dixieland style music that filtered into funk, and out of funk came guys like Smokey Johnson. And these records like Smokey Johnson, anything Smokey Johnson's on, I would seek out as a recording of good funk. And all of the Meters records are good records. The records of George Buddha and Sugar Less. Those records in particular are what I call early funk, and they're probably, you know, as far as I can't say our generation because I got a couple of them. So. As far as, you know, as far as music goes, when it comes to New Orleans funk, a lot of people associate the Meters with that type of funk. Nowadays, there's some modern music coming out of New Orleans, and it also has lots of traditional aspects to it. This band will be playing tomorrow, the Astral Project. Even though the band sounds like it's playing modern music, we're using a lot of traditional concepts, especially New Orleans rhythms, in New Orleans form. So, my favorite, to answer your question, my favorite recordings are practically all of the old ones, since recording was such a small industry at the time. You know, you were lucky to get recorded, and the old stuff is my favorite. And when it comes to the new stuff, you got to just seek it out because there's so much of it. But I can just say that the traditional New Orleans music in New Orleans is still being played today very much, you know, and it's by no means an old music in New Orleans. And even when you're playing other kind of music, it manages to seep into your playing. So to answer your question, I like a whole bunch of records. Yeah. Ask me a question.